I talk to you a lot on Twitter about what's going on in the Bitcoin world. I think a lot of people seek your advice. Do you have any idea why we saw this big spike this morning?
Hey, Matt, great to see you. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, definitely. This move has been building up for a few months now. Since the mid-December lows, we've been kind of gaining some gradual momentum. Initially, it was in some of the smaller cryptos, so the altcoins. We saw a bit of value investing where some of those cryptos were surging. Some of them have doubled, tripled, or even quadrupled in value since then, whereas Bitcoin has been a bit more stable. This is the chart of Bitcoin since through 2017. The thing to note here is the blue line, which is the 200-day moving average, which has been incredibly important for Bitcoin over the last year and a half. The move this morning seems to be a technical move that was caused by a jump above that 4,200 level. You can see that it's been building up resistance, and then just as we come above it, this is a key level that's been eyed by traders for weeks now. So no doubt we had a lot of stop losses building up and some entry orders there.
Mati, good morning to you. What is it about Bitcoin that, sort of from a fundamental perspective, dictates whether it continues to rally from here then? What would you look to? I was looking at some analysis this morning that was talking about how much mainstream adoption there still could be of Bitcoin or not. Is that for you the big question, whether this is adopted in a mainstream way with some use, or is that still not part of the story?
It is actually a very big part of the story. In fact, the prices is not an indication of industry growth. So throughout this crypto winter that we've seen over the last year, we've actually seen the industry growing at a rapid pace. Certainly there have been some companies that went under because they didn't manage their books right. They were relying on very high crypto prices. But that's what bear markets are all about. That's when business models are tested. Here at Etoro, for example, even during the bear market, we continued to build the infrastructure. We put on several new products while the winter was going on, which is the Etoro X, which is a crypto exchange, and an Etoro crypto wallet. So this is something that we've seen throughout the blockchain industry. Blockchain and Bitcoin keywords are trending on LinkedIn. We can see that they're demanding higher and higher pay for blockchain developers. So just because the prices have been falling doesn't really mean much. The industry has actually been growing at a rapid pace.
Mati, I want to show you a chart that Hillary put together for me this morning. When we first saw this big move in Bitcoin, she said, whoa, it's blown through 3 standard deviations. And then she wanted to see, how often that's happened going back over the last 5 years. Obviously, it's very volatile, and you can see from these spikes, we saw it go through 3 standard deviations in 2018, 2017, a lot. So it isn't unusual over history, but it is unusual in the last year to see this kind of move. Is it possible that, as a lot of people on Twitter have been saying, this was an April Fool's joke, that the SEC had approved a Bitcoin ETF, and that's what really pushed this through in Chinese trading this morning?
I believe that that April Fool's kind of put April Fool's Day kind of put everybody in a good mood. There was a lot of jokes going back and forth. There was an article that you mentioned by Finance Magnets, which was a joke article that said that the SEC had approved the Bitcoin ETF. That article came out about 18 hours before the pump happened. I think that everybody kind of understood that it was an April Fool's joke. So if there were algos that were tricked by that, I don't think that that's what would have caused such a massive move.